until the end. Thank you so much. Our next presenter is Patricia Krider. She's Executive Director of the First Ladies Library and Education Center in Canton, Ohio, which is devoted to education about the contributions of First Ladies and other notable women in history. Founded in 1995 by Mary Regula, the Ohio Library, which established an online bibliography of America's First Ladies, is also a National Historic Site in partnership with the National Park Service. Ms. Krider is a magna cum laude graduate of Ashland University and also holds degrees from Walsh University and Starr State College. She's come to us from Ohio today, and so we appreciate her presence very, very much. Ms. Krider?
Thank you. Let's see if I can get my program up here.
Sorry, I can close it, sorry.
That's okay. Usually my projector. I wanted to let you know that I met Janice when we went on a trip to Cuba together. We went with the American Association of Museums, and we got to visit Cuba, which is something not a lot of people get to do. So it was a wonderful trip. We really had a good time, and that was in March of 2010. We had a group, and Janice had the idea to start this organization, and I can really appreciate that because I've been with the National First Ladies Library since the beginning, and I do have handouts in case you can't see the screen up here. We kind of had to do a makeshift thing today. If you would do me the favor of passing those around. So Janice had asked me quite some time ago, when am I going to be in Washington, could I do a program? And so this worked out, and being here on Valentine's Day is just wonderful. And I'm just thrilled to be here. And I've seen a lot of old friends in the last couple of days that I've been here, so it's been a really nice time. The National First Ladies Library is a private, not-for-profit organization, a 501c3, and we're managed by a board of directors. We have a mission, and our mission is that we are dedicated to educating the public about the important contributions of our nation's First Ladies. And that's a big order when you think about it, educating the public, because there are so many segments of the public. And as our organization has continued to grow, we have found out that in order to reach those different segments of the public, we have to keep expanding what we do. Education is a priority for us. You know, we want to educate schools, we want to educate teachers. We do programs mostly on-site, but we have started doing some off-site programs to reach, again, a larger group. We have a very big website, and our website has curriculum enrichment units of study that are available free of charge for schools and for whoever wants to use them. And we also educate the public, again, in a variety of ways. We're a museum. We're a research library. We're an educational institution. And this organization, like I said, has grown. When we started, our founder, Mary Regula, who, Anita, you know, her idea was to provide education about First Ladies, and really what she wanted to do was she wanted to create a bibliography. Mary Regula is the wife of a now retired congressman who was in Congress for many years, and throughout the years there were times that she would be asked to fill in for him at her speeches. And Mary being Mary, if he was going to speak at a Lincoln Day speech, Mary would say, well, I'm going to come and I'm going to speak, but I'm not speaking about Abe Lincoln, I'm going to speak about Mary Lincoln. But what Mary found was that when she went to her local library, she was frustrated because there wasn't a lot of information there. And she said, you know, I know that there's information that's been written about Mary Lincoln. Where is it? But remember, this is back in the 1970s. There was no internet at that time, and the librarians would say, well, if you can come to me with the author and the title and the publisher, you know, we can search around and find it. She didn't know those. So her goal was to put together a bibliography so that researchers out there would at least have that resource. And, you know, from there we kind of grew. We found out that, you know, having a research library educates a certain segment of the public, but that we were missing other people. And so we became a museum. We became an educational institution. And it's kind of interesting because we're actually going to be celebrating our 15th anniversary. It makes it a very interesting job. Every day is different. And of course, when you cover all the first ladies, you know, every 4 to 8 years you have somebody new. So you don't get bored. We also manage and we operate what is now the First Ladies National Historic Site, which was established in October of 2000. We're a private partner with the National Park Service. We have a cooperative agreement. And basically, we started the organization, and then it became the First Ladies National Historic Site. And that's not really unusual. There are a lot of units of the National Park Service around the country that were started like from nonprofits or historical associations or whatever, and then taken into the National Park Service. And the National Park Service has kind of this new look at things that they say, well, if there's an organization that's already been there, they're already doing it, why do we want to step in and start running it our way? Let that private partner run it for us. And so that's kind of where we are. We, National First Ladies Library, are very, very grateful to have support of all the First Ladies. All the living First Ladies are honorary chairs of our organization. In 1998, and I was telling Janice this yesterday, Janice said, you know, where people will ask her, where's your stuff? I said, well, you know what, we started without a physical location. We had a website first, before any of our buildings opened. And our website was unveiled in February of 1998 by Hillary Clinton in the East Room of the White House. And that was it was a thrilling, thrilling day. We've had First Ladies come to Canton, Ohio. Rosalind Carter in June of '98, Hillary Clinton in July of 1999, and Laura Bush dedicated our Education and Research Center in September of 2003. We're working on getting Michelle Obama to Canton. It hasn't happened yet. So we're a small site. We have a historic home. It's the family home of Ida Saxton McKinley, and it serves as our house museum. We've restored it to a time period when the McKinleys would have lived there, 1870 to 1890. And we also have our Education and Research Center. And this building was donated to us, which sounds like a wonderful thing, but then we had to put like $10 million into restoring it. So it was not in very good shape. But it is a stepping-stone building, and it's really helping us fulfill our mission. We have 7 floors. Each of the floors is named after an Ohio First Lady. It just happened to work out that there's 7 First Ladies from Ohio. Ohio actually claims 8 presidents. But Julia Grant never lived in Ohio. She never spent any time there, so we can't claim her, and you know, then we have to build up onto our building anyways. But in this Education and Research Center, we have our research library. We have a small, really cool Victorian theater. It holds about 90 people, and it's great for school groups. We have conference rooms. We have it's our visitor center, and we also have exhibit space in this building. One of the things that we really weren't going to do initially, but again, to educate the public, we found out that we had to do, is we started developing exhibits. And our exhibits change every 7 to 9 months, and they follow a theme. We don't try to cover all the First Ladies at once, but we'll have a theme, like First Ladies as ambassadors, or First Ladies in healthcare, First Ladies in education. And again, getting back to Mary Regula, who's quite a pistol, I'll have to tell you. Initially, when we were starting to do exhibits, she was absolutely opposed to putting dresses on display. You know, she's about education. We want people to know what First Ladies have done, not what they wore. And you know, she'd make these statements, we're not about the dresses. Well, you know, we've had many visitors come in, and one one visitor in particular, I can remember it was a busload of elderly people, and an older woman walked in the door, and Mary happened to be there that day. And she looked at Mary, and she looked around, and she said, "Where are the dresses?" And Mary said, "We don't have dresses, we're about the accomplishments of First Ladies." And the woman said, She turned around, went back to the bus. I'm not saying that's what changed Mary's mind, but we do have dresses on display all along with our exhibit. And again, like Kathleen said, or like Lisa said, that when people see the clothing in the article, it says something about the woman. I mean, everyone in this room has a different style of dress. And so those articles, those clothing articles, or whatever they happen to be, when people look at them, they get a feel and a vision of that woman, and then you educate them. We do have a lot of educational programs. We have school children come free of charge, and we do a lot of programs to the public. And getting back to our research library, which is really where it all began, we have a collection of, I don't know, probably 3,000, 4,000 books by and about First Ladies. And when we first started the organization, and I was like the first paid employee, we had the bibliography. It was developed and it was on the website. And so to build our library, I used that bibliography. And thank God by this time, the internet is already available. And what I would do is I would go on the internet every handful of months, and I would go on websites like Abe Books and Alibris, okay? Because, we're talking books that were published back in the 1800s, out of print. Most of them are out of print. And I was able to find just thousands of books, amazingly enough, because these websites link booksellers together. And that's how we were able to build our early collection. Fortunately, had the internet not been available, I'm not sure we would have, a quarter of the books that we have right now. But in addition to the books on by and about First Ladies, we also have a growing collection of audiovisual materials of First Ladies' speeches, public appearances, interviews. Some of them are silent. We try to gather those things that have to do with the First Ladies' causes, rather than them talking about, a party they went to or something like that. So we try to make sure that what we have has something to do with what that First Lady believes in. We also have a growing archives. We have a collection of very cool letters written by First Ladies. Again, we look for those that have significant content, where the First Lady is talking about their interest, about their causes, and even about their political influences and their political views. We have, again, a growing collection of artifacts, gowns, dresses, personal items, which came a little later on, and we have a collection of different authors' research papers. And all of those things help researchers who come in. They can look at the letters, they can see those other authors' research papers, and take a look at the artifacts if they're not on display. In fact, there's an auction coming up this weekend of Kennedy items, and most of the things on Jackie Kennedy are photographs, but we're looking at probably bidding on some of those just to have some unusual photographs in our collection. And back to our website, which again is pretty substantial and has grown over the years. Our website has all information on the history and the background of the National First Ladies Library, how we got started. It has that bibliography, which continues to be updated. Now it's probably updated monthly. And we have biographies on each of the First Ladies. We have a lot of facts, we have a lot of trivia. We have those curriculum units. And we receive probably about 5,000 hits per day. Yeah. We're dabbling into some of the social media. The problem is our staff is like older than they should be, so we're all like, I am a person who can't stand Facebook. I just hate it, and I feel like we're getting forced into going into Facebook because you want to learn about events at the local theater. They're going, well, like us on Facebook, and you'll find out. So I just feel like I'm getting forced, and I hate it. But we do have a Facebook page, and we dabble with Twitter, and we have a monthly e-newsletter that goes out and talks about our different events. By the way, while I'm thinking about this, because I don't want to forget, C-SPAN is doing a series on First Ladies, and it starts Monday night. And Monday night is kind of be an overview of the series, and it's going to run 2 seasons. And then February 25th, which would be the following Monday, is the first segment. They're 90-minute segments, and this one is on Martha Washington. And the C-SPAN tour bus is actually coming to Canton, Ohio, to our site on Saturday, and they're going to be there for a couple hours advertising the program. But we're pretty excited about that. Why were we so interested? Why was Mary Regula so interested in First Ladies? You know, what was the big deal there? Well, aside from the fact that she couldn't find information, basically, First Ladies have played an important role from the beginning, but we don't know a lot about those earlier First Ladies. You know, they've been helpmates in campaigns, political advisors. They've been involved in causes, and sometimes, especially the early First Ladies, their job was to stay home and run the businesses and the plantations. You know, George Washington and John Adams couldn't have been in the political life that they were if they didn't have Martha Washington back home and Abigail Adams back home running the ranch, you know, running the plantation. And interestingly enough, there's many First Ladies were and are better educated and wealthier than their husbands. And I just have some interesting information. How am I doing on time, Janice? I need to wrap it up? Okay. Very quickly, just a few things, and most of this is in your packet anyway. Dolly Madison, the only First Lady given an honorary seat on the floor of Congress, and she was the first American to respond to a telegraph message sent by Samuel Morse. Abigail Fillmore began the first White House library. When the Fillmores went into the White House, they were both shocked to find that there were no books in the White House, not even a Bible. And so they got an appropriation from Congress, $2,000, and began the first White House library, which is now gone. And Lucy Hayes hosted the first Easter egg roll. Frances Cleveland, youngest First Lady at age 21, and the only woman to marry a president and give birth in the White House. Ida McKinley, the only First Lady to work as a bank teller and a manager. Nellie Taft, she's an amazing woman. First Lady to own and drive a car, to ride in her husband's inaugural parade, to support women's suffrage, to publish her memoirs, to smoke cigarettes, and successfully lobby for safety standards in federal workplaces.
Yes.
And Ellen Wilson, the only professional artist to become First Lady. Florence Harding, another amazing woman. First Lady to vote in a presidential election, fly in an airplane, operate a movie camera, own a radio, and invite movie stars to the White House. Lou Hoover, another pretty amazing woman, first woman to graduate from Stanford University with a geology degree, and she spoke Mandarin Chinese fluently.
Great clothes.
Yes. Eleanor Roosevelt, first Lady to hold regular press conferences, write newspaper and magazine columns, and host a weekly radio show. And Lisa mentioned Lady Bird Johnson and the Lady Bird Special, and I have a photo here of the Lady Bird Special. She was the First Lady to make a solo planned campaign trip in support of her husband's presidential campaign, and First Lady to hold the Bible for her husband's inauguration, and then that became the standard. And I think I will go ahead and stop there, so we can move on to our...
Thank you.